Hello, my name is Sage, and this is my project on opioids, the public health crisis. So, opioids, while they have helped millions manage pain, they've also fueled one of the deadliest drug epidemics in history. Today, we're going to explore what opioids are, how they affect the body, and risks and realities that kind of surround it. So every day, over 130 Americans die from an opioid overdose. That's from the CDC. It really just kind of reflects how big of a crisis this is and that it affects millions of Americans across the country. Um, so, what are opioids specifically? So, opioids are a powerful depressant and they come from the opium flower. It is a long name that I don't think I can pronounce very well, or it's created in labs. Uh, Opioids have been used for years as a pain relief, and now they're pretty regularly prescribed worldwide. Mostly, opioids are in the Schedule 2 category. They can be used in medicine. However, heroin is only a Schedule 1 as it's super illegal and bad. Different prescription names for it could be morphine, codeine, oxycodone, hydrocodone, fentanyl, methadone, and norepinephrine. Or, yeah. And then street names for it. Honestly, the only one I've heard of is Oxy, but in looking it up, um, other names could be Smack, Perks, H, Dope. Oh, I've heard of Dope too, and China White, which I had never heard. And then they are in the class of depressants. They act directly on the central nervous system to kind of reduce pain and produce that euphoric feeling. The history of opioids, they've been used for years. They have been, because it's a plant, obviously it's been used for pain relief in ancient times. And in the 1800s, it was kind of scientifically discovered, and the heroin was synthesized, and morphine was specifically isolated from opium. And then the prescription boom of opioids was in the 1990s. They started giving it a lot for pain management. And then nowadays, it's a public health crisis with thousands of overdose deaths annually, and fentanyl is on the rise. Obviously, we all know. And just a little bit about how they work. Opioids, they bind to specific receptors in the brain and the spinal cord, and it blocks pain signals and it triggers releases of dopamine and different chemical associations with pleasure, that euphoric feeling, and then that great feeling kind of reinforces that addictive behavior. You can take it by a pill, by an injection, you can snort powder, you can have skin patches, there's liquid formulations, so really any and everything that you can find. The opioids cause a surge in dopamine that is that rewarding kind of chemical, and is why it's so highly addictive. With repeated use, the body kind of gets used to it, it adapts to it, and requires higher doses for similar effects. That's why a lot of drug addicts end up needing a lot more as time goes on. Different effects and health consequences. So, short-term effects, obviously pain relief, sedation, drowsiness, slowed breathing and heart rate, and then nausea and constipation would be a bad side effect. That's why it's also used to treat severe cases of diarrhea. We'll talk about that later. I just thought that was interesting. Long-term effects, there's physical dependence, brain chemistry kind of gets a little rewired. You can have hormone disruption, and then, yeah, severe constipation and GI issues can also be a long-term effect. Um, Different withdrawal symptoms, overdose signs, and critical dangers. Obviously, fentanyl is a lot more potent than morphine. Um, so it's that's why it's been such a big crisis, because even the smallest amounts can kill you. Withdrawal symptoms, nausea, muscle pain, anxiety, insomnia, sweating, not great stuff. And then overdose signs could be pinpoint pupils, unconsciousness, cyanosis or blue lips, extreme drowsiness, and then slowed or stopped breathing, which is why overdose is a medical emergency, because You stop breathing. That's bad. The impact on public health, so far by the CDC's uh, research, over 80,000 opioid deaths annually, and they've tripled since 1999. Fentanyl is kind of driving the recent surge in deaths. Most commonly, adults 25 to 54 are affected. And I thought that it was a little interesting. It's rising among women and in rural populations. Also, the legal status, obviously, heroin is illegal, no medical use. It's Schedule 1. And then most prescription opioids are Schedule 2. There's high abuse potential, but they're still prescribed for pain management. Um, and yeah, I thought that severe diarrhea treatment was crazy. I had never heard of opioids being used for that. Um, Different treatments, obviously, I feel like most of us know about Narcan or naloxone, which is an immediate life-saving medication that kind of temporarily reverses an opioid overdose. It can cause people to be a little agitated because they're upset that you ruined their high. But it is safe, it's effective, and I think that the public health initiative of making it more widely distributed is definitely helping with the overdose crisis. There's different recovery and support options, obviously, for people who have that substance use disorder. Different medications can be used, behavioral therapies, support groups can help, and then just general harm reduction and rehabilitation afterwards. And then here's some resources on where to get help. There's different helplines, there's different opioid response programs. Um, so it's good to have the different resources for everybody. And yeah, thank you so much.